Hey everyone, welcome to Music Theory Part 11. You've come a long way in your journey to learning music theory if you've been taking this from the beginning. If you just jumped in here, then hi, welcome to the class. In the class, we're going to be talking about phrasing and motives. So what that means is, to kind of summarize the entire class in one little thing, we've been looking primarily at music vertically. Like all the notes that happen at any given point, what can we call those? What's going on at any given point? Now we're going to start to look at music horizontally, right? So that means melody, shape of the melody. Also, chords do have a say in what's happening when we're talking about phrasing and motives also. So it's not just horizontally, it's horizontally and vertically. So we will be looking more at melody than we have looked at that in any other class so far. We're also going to be looking at how composers typically have structured melodies to make it the most memorable in your head. We do things like motives. We have something called a sentence, a musical sentence. We have something called a musical period. It's very grammatical what we do. Grammatical? Yeah, grammatical what we do with music to construct the most memorable and singable kind of melody. And we're going to look at how composers have done that in the past. In this class, we're going to look at a little bit of Mozart. We're also going to look at quite a bit of Beatles. We've looked at some Beatles in the past. It's really easy to spot these things in more popular music, so we're going to spend some time on that, and then we'll switch over to working with some Mozart and some more classical music things. It's gonna be a lot of fun if you've been wondering about melodies and structure and all that stuff. This is where we start diving into it. So here we go. Because what is the point of the phrase? The point of the phrase is to have a little bit of information that we can reuse that will be memorable, right? What we want to do is, and what composers have tried to do for centuries, is when we have a melody and we're talking about augmenting that melody or using augmentation, what we're talking about is pulling it apart a little bit. It's a rhythmic thing rather than a harmonic thing. Remember what I was saying earlier about how a lot of this has to do with storytelling, right? Getting the narrative idea of a piece of music across. Well, it gets even slightly more literal. So by phrase rhythm, what we're talking about is the phrase and the rhythmic chunks of the phrase. So in the case of what we have here, the hyperrhythm and the phrase rhythm, and when we're looking at a melody, there's a real formula to a melody. It consists of phrases, sentences, periods, sometimes double periods. There's a couple more elements as well. Periods, there's a couple more that we'll talk about in the near future. There's contrasting periods, there's parallel periods, there's other things that we'll encounter. But for now, let's just sit tight on this idea of what a period is. And be happy with that. So take some time and write a melody or two, and have some fun with it.